Welcome to Thinking Out Loud. I'm Riyaaz Safi. Hope you find this episode to be inspirational and insightful. Please remember to subscribe and share the podcast. As we officially say goodbye to 2020 the next couple of weeks, the year has been a strange one that will be remembered in the history books for years to come. It is also that time of the year when we sit back and reflect on the year that has passed. We look at our achievements as well as areas we did not do well in, and work on a plan, or let's use that dreaded term, New Year's resolutions. Some people wish to lose weight while others want to quit smoking, and so on and so forth. A week into the new year, and most of those resolutions become a pipe dream. Well, there's always another year, right? Let's find out. Today on Thinking Out Loud, I have a special guest. She's the founder of Silver Lining Workshop Facilitation and Transformational Coach. She also has an immense passion for people, and after graduating with a business degree, her true calling was in education, where she could positively impact young minds. She's also a motivational speaker and a host of her own radio show. Let's welcome to Thinking Out Loud, Shahista Thokan.
Thank you so much for having me, Riyaaz.
Lawrence Peter once said, "If you don't know where you're going, you will probably end up somewhere else." Let us start off with why is it important for one to set goals?
I think from the onset, let's just define this so that our listeners are very well aware of what we as a topic for today. So the object of a person's ambition and effort in life is always aimed at a desired. And this is the core definition of what a goal is that when we wake up daily, we are aware of what needs to be done, but also at the back of our minds, we have these dreams, these ambitions, or these wants and desires of which we want to actually achieve. And these type of goals allow us then to achieve them. Now, just as you need a builder and supplies to complete the building of a home, so too do you need hope and goals to build this future, this desire that you want. And these goals serve then as a catalyst to self-develop, but also to improve the type of life that you are living. Now, Riyaaz, as you are aware, change occurs for progress in our lives when an improve a current situation or in which they are in. And it's the only constant and a guarantee that change will happen to us. So in this process of goal setting, we need to actually adapt to change, but also we know that growth is going to be the byproduct of this change. I love the phrase that we grow through what we go through. And with goals, it's like staying but expecting different results. So if you're actually driving towards one direction, and then the results will be based on that. And we are taking back when we set goals over the change process of our lives. It's like steering your own personal vehicle direction in which you want it to go.
Amazing points indeed. So now I have identified, for example, that my goal for 2021 is going to be, let's be boring, lose weight. What are the steps that should be followed to meet the goals?
So I first know, how do you know what my goals are, Riyaaz?
I don't.
So the starting point on how to set goals is to know and ask yourself, what is it that I want? And what is it that I want to achieve? And when we do say these things out loud and these type of commitments that we make to ourselves, it's actually a very good motivation for us to start setting the goals. And the technique that I use here is called SMART goals. And it's a technique very commonly used amongst any individual because it's very specific, it's measurable, it's attainable, it becomes realistic and becomes timeless. So when we use this technique, we're actually writing down physically what we want to become tangible and real in our lives. And we plan or list these steps on needing to realize this goal and cross them out so that they become achievements for us. Remember, failure is feedback. So even though we may set these goals, use the techniques involved, which you will find online, nothing stops us from retrying and resetting the goals, because when we do that, we're realizing that it is for our own benefit and it makes it much more worthwhile. So the step to meet the goals are really having the technique in front of you and saying, I need to be specific with what I want. I need to be able to tell myself how soon I want to achieve it. I want to make it attainable. For example, you brought up the topic of wanting to lose weight.
Yes.
When you want to attain something, you prepare yourself for the achievement of it. So if you're going to keep crisp or sweets and chocolates at the house, you're actually making it less attainable. But if you do meal preparations or become healthier in your grocery shopping, you are making it more attainable, more realistic for you to actually achieve the goal. So those are actually the type of things that we need to consider, is how are we making this more realizable to us in our very own conditioning.
So, when I attended your workshop once, I liked the vision board that you spoke about with regards to setting goals. And I guess it's a matter of if you can perceive it, you can achieve it. Tell us in detail about how we should go about setting up the vision board.
Okay, so again, the definition of what a vision board is, listeners out there. So it's a particular tool that we use to help clarify, concentrate, and maintain focus on a specific goal or goals set by an individual. So it is a display of images of sort, Riyaaz, which represent whatever it is that you actually want from life or you want to be. It's an emotional visual connection which motivates you to believe in your dreams coming true. Now, with millennials, we must know that visualization, and they are visual learners, that actually makes more sense in how they see things and do things, everything visual to them. So vision boards have become far more popular than previously, because now they are displaying as a reminder all the wonderful things which either in the direction or energize them towards attracting these images and these pictures and these things into their lives.
There are different methods to teaching vision boards, and since you've attended mine, you are aware that I'm very hands-on with teaching it and you applying it as a client. And I like to use the NLP transformative method of what I was taught, which is neuro-linguistic programming, which actually teaches us how the brain is wired into visual thinking. And I use something called the balance scale. So I draw up the different quadrants for my clients so that their vision boards are quite structured in terms of health, finance, career being the different quadrants. And then I guide them to flip through various magazines of diverse caliber and diversity in terms of what they're exposed to online or print media, and to choose what actually appeals to them most. I have a very standard size board because I prefer the goals to be very achievable and structured, whereas if you have the larger boards, you get lost in your thinking and where your focus should lie. And what we've discussed in the previous question, to make it a bit more attainable for a person when they do the vision boards.
Well, I'm definitely going to be setting aside some time to go through all my magazines and get those pics. Very often, many people get despondent or they feel that this is not for me. Whatever will happen is destined to happen, because whenever I try, it does not go according to plan. What would your response be to that?
So there's one very nice phrase which I live by, and if you've met me, I keep saying this as a mantra to people. When you are given something in life, it's God's direction. But when you are missing out on something, or when you are not getting what you want from life, it's God's protection. And I strongly believe that when things don't go according to plan, that door was not meant for you to be opened. So just like any skill, coming back to our topic of conversation, this planning and this goal setting is something that we have to learn, and we execute only through the practice of it. And the biggest challenge here is actually striking a work-life balance, because one always trumps the other. So when things don't go according to plan, we often say, it's not a priority, or we haven't prioritized it. But nothing is impossible. And this work-life balance, which I try to get my clients to achieve, is an ongoing process and boils down to time management, or rather making time. So, of course, not every day may be the same routine, but starting on one particular day, like how we get people that say Monday or New Year's and so forth, having that one day in mind where you wish to change your habits to achieve your goals. So cultivating this habit of setting and achieving small goals first promotes the larger goals. Secondly, I always tell people, in order to build resilience and bounce back from setbacks, it is so important to first internalize and look at your own needs, both emotionally as well as mentally. One of the ways is to become resilient in this and reaffirm your positive thoughts that you need to express and repeatedly motivate yourself with phrases to change the negative narrative that you carry around in your head day to day. Because once you start fostering this positive mindset and this positive way of thinking, you actually start becoming your very own cheerleader and build your own self-confidence. And you take care of these needs of yourself, and you are improving then your abilities to cope with the setbacks when things don't go according to plan. And three things, Riyaaz, that I've taken from my journey on building my resilience is, I often ask the question, is this, the way I'm thinking, the way I'm acting, helping me or harming me? Mm-hmm. Secondly, where am I focusing my energy and my attention every single day? And thirdly, am I actually living in the present, or am I dwelling on my past? That's very important for us to recognize what are we doing and why are we doing it.
2020 has been a horror movie for most people the world over as they grapple to adjust to the new normal. Your thinking out loud question. Share with us 3 important points to consider before setting new goals for a new year, and how does one start if you've never done this before?
So I am an advocate for individuals to stop in their tracks of their lives and ask themselves a very good question of, why am I doing what I'm doing? And when you can answer that very first why in your life, you are automatically building yourself to live with a purpose. You're asking yourself, okay, there are obviously the needs of putting food on the table, earning a living, having dependents to care for, nurture, and so forth. But when you ask yourself, why do I do what I do the way I am doing it, you're actually starting to question how you are behaving. And identifying your purpose is the first point of setting these new goals, is because when you ask that question, you say, well, if I want to be a counselor, I will need to start aligning my personal goals to my purpose of being a counselor. So I will find out, how do I need to go about doing this? What will I need to change about myself to then serve this purpose which I am living? So finding and identifying that purpose is very, very important. Secondly, identifying those limiting beliefs and negative reactions, which you often get for yourself. Like, think about what is stopping you from achieving your goals. You can say these things to yourself that often become these limiting beliefs. For example, if I am a counselor, what is stopping me from doing it? It's I cannot earn money that is enough or sufficient to pay for the type of life that I have. And I often say to you, Riyaaz, in my workshops, there's a bread and butter salary, and then there's a passion purpose that we live. So sure, you can work, and we're talking again about that work-life balance, but then finding that purpose may be a separate entity of your life, a component that you need to maybe remove the limiting beliefs that you cannot have it all and do it all, because yes, it is possible. What you say to yourself then becomes motivating. It becomes a motivational, inspiring factor in your life to achieve it. Remember, our thoughts become our actions, and our actions often become our habits, and these habits make us live our day-to-day lives. Thirdly, change the rules by changing your perspective. If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. So goal setting gives us this direction towards our purpose. And in order to realize these new goals and new directions for improvement in our lives, we need to actually reset them, revise them, analyze them according to what has changed around us, whether it was our financial situation in 2020, our relationship situation in 2020, and reset our new goals for 2021 according to this change.
Thank you so much for sharing your insight with us on Thinking Out Loud, Shahista Thokan.
Thank you so much, Riyaaz, for having me and allowing me to do what I do best, which is try and help people to achieve their life's purpose and live their best lives. It gives me such joy to be interviewed by someone who's equally passionate about this. Thank you so much.
If you like this podcast, please press the subscribe button and you will be notified when a new episode is posted. Over the next few episodes, we feature a variety of guests who will be helping us find answers to questions we often think about but rarely end up asking on Thinking Out Loud. Thank you so much for listening. Till the next episode, bye for now.